You know, it's funny, there's a Ohio law that you're not supposed to like text and drive or be on your phone and drive. And I understand it, right? Leaving the thing lay in your lap and talking to it, it's just like having a person in the car. I don't see a big deal with that. So technically right now I'm breaking the law, which reminded me one of the earlier questions that I remember my dad asking me was Black Sabbath or Judas Priest. It's in my book as I select from a cassette tape zip-up pack, right? He's driving. That's how we bonded, was music. And I picked Judas Priest, and we listened to like Breaking the Law. But like, the law, you know, in Christianity, it's a very legalistic, rigid thing. Like, this is technically not legal, but is it? I'm in a cemetery. I'm not even on public road. So I don't know. I'm in a gray area. Am I breaking the law or not? Who knows? But the point is, you do it with a good heart posture. Like, what is my intention to do in this video? To bond with people. It's loving. To educate people. To inspire people. To spark conversations about spirituality. To commemorate my family. Positive things, right? And the whole point of this is brightening people's days. Beautiful, sundar, right? Sundar means beautiful in Hindi. Why Hindi? Because Eastern philosophy framed my spirituality. That's my filter. This is my channel. So what we're doing is going down here to a different place. And I'll just show. Clifton graves. It's Big Al and Kicks. My grandparents. Those are my dad's parents. And I got stories. So, Big Al, he was in Korea. You know? And now that I think of it, I told you a Joe story about him being in Korea. That may have been World War II. It may have been World War II he was in. Because Big Al was in Korea. But I think Joe was in World War II. He was a World War II vet. I got my story twisted. My bad. The Aleutian Islands, I think, was during World War II. I'm going to have to actually research this and think it out, right? That's the whole point of this. Because Big Al was definitely in Korea. I know that for a fact. Joe's, I think, was the Aleutian Islands. So this goes to where our memories can be fuzzy because I wasn't there. These guys were. And I've not written any of this down. And I'm just off the cuff making videos, right? So this goes to show, biblically it says, write the vision, make it clear on tables of stone. And that's in Habakkuk, early on in Habakkuk. And if we write things down, we are more likely to establish a more reliable history. So our brains, this is showing you, is unreliable. But these family lore things, there's a lot of truth to them. So I'm learning a lot about spirituality through this process. And I wanted to film it just for that reason. And for it to be raw and real. So Big Al's story, I'll tell you the truth of what I remember. He was a big dude. He looked a little bit like me. He had huge wrists. I have small wrists. He had huge wrists. He was big. So they call him Big Al. He would have to buy 2 watches and take links out of the other watch bands just to fit his wrists. That's how big this dude was. He worked at General Motors. He was a die setter. And he named my father, who I am named after. So that's where I get my name, Ernie, from my father. That's why there's a Roman numeral 2. He named us after, my middle name is Ray. So he thought like Sugar Ray Leonard, he was a boxing fan. Ernie Ray Clifton, the second, like royalty. So now I got this thing in my bloodline. This is the guy who started that, Big Al. He was heavily tattooed because of his military experience, and he had true love tattooed across his knuckles. And I used to go over there, and I thought he was tough as nails. He had tattoos on his chest. He was covered in tattoos, and he would be sitting shirtless eating. He liked food. He was a little heavier as I got to know him as a young man, but I guess when he was younger, he wasn't just heavy. He was like big, like bulky, stocky. Bad dude. Didn't want to cross him. And hard worker and a Mansfielder. So that's legit. That's what I remember. And his wife, Kix, my grandma. I just remember her loving me. I remember being sweet and loving me. But you know the truth, I inherited some of the mental illness I have, the depression and stuff, probably from her. She led a tough life. She had some stuff going on in her head, and you know, I'm glad that we're shining light as a culture on more of our mental illness. I don't have any like humorous, funny stories because I didn't spend a lot of time with that side of my family growing up. Didn't spend a lot of time with them. But I'm here to honor my parents and grandparents, right? Tell good stories. I remember that she had a love in her that is inherent in women. And I think that we're seeing our culture stripped of in ways as we sexualize things, and then we pervert things and homosexualize things. And I'm not saying that to offend anybody, because you can still love and have sexual orientation. But I think when we make sexual things like the peak, like sometimes our society does for advertising and in the media and in jokes, and I do it with humor sometimes, but like it's, you know, you gotta know when to back off, because if that's the core of your culture, sex, it becomes a very disgusting thing, and that's when we fall into the Sodom and Gomorrah. And we're seeing this in certain cities, right? Like the prostitution rates out in like LA and Oakland, and even where it's legal in Nevada, you're seeing where culture is driven by sex. It's not good. It should be, just as it's a little small amount of our chromosomes, it should be a very small amount of what we do. Sex is not as important. It is a very significant thing, very significant, because it symbolizes unity and bonding, but it's not as freaking, we shouldn't center life around it. And that's what men do and women do. And it certainly drives us to bond to a thing and to make a baby. And that is precious. But culturally, like the way we live our lives, think about what I'm laying down.